Hello everybody, welcome back to another reading. Today we're looking at the case of the Wilmington John Doe, whose body parts were found strewn across Wilmington, California in April of 1973. They were estimated to be between 17 to 25 years old, Caucasian, height 5'2", 5'10", weight between 130 to 160 pounds. Other characteristics: they had brown wavy and curly hair about 5 inches long, they had a thin, fine mustache, brown eyes, mole on the right side of the neck below the right ear. Cause of death: strangulation. And before they died, they were also emasculated and their eyelids were removed. So that's a very gruesome detail. So his body parts were found in different places. His torso was found at Alameda Street and Henry Ford Avenue in Wilmington. His right leg was found on the Terminal Islands Freeway at Anaheim Street in Wilmington. His left leg was found behind Broomhilda's. His arms were found on the Terminal Islands Freeway in Long Beach, and his head was found in a paper bag behind an Alpha Beta supermarket at the 7th Street and Redondo Avenue in Long Beach. So all parts except for his hands were recovered. Now authorities believe that this victim is a victim of Randy Steven Kraft, known as the Scorecard Killer, who is responsible for up to 67 murders of young boys and men in mostly California. Kraft, however, was never convicted for this particular murder, even though law enforcement is convinced that they are responsible because of the subtle reference of the victim in Kraft's scorecard and the fact that the left leg was found behind the bar where Kraft worked. So that would be Broomhilda's. They believe that the victim is referred to as hot off head on the scorecard Kraft kept of his victims. And that's all we know about the Wilmington John Doe of April 1973, because there was apparently another one in February 74 that I'm seeing in a list down at the bottom of this page. In any case, he's been unidentified for 51 years, and even though they strongly suspect that he may have been a victim of Kraft's, which seems likely due to Kraft's scorecard and the number of people that he had taken out in this particular region, it's not 100% certain. I was asked to do a reading on this case, so we're going to do that today, and we're starting off with the Deviant Moon deck, which is currently already on the table. And for any further questions, moving on to the vice versa deck, which is this one. So as per usual, I'm just going to start shuffling the deck. As soon as I have a table full of cards, I'm going to stop and take a look. So without much further ado, let's get started. Okay, let's see what we got. We're starting over here with the Two of Wands. So we're looking for a place to go, maybe making plans to go somewhere. And then we have the Five of Cups upright. So maybe there are just things that they're not super happy with. This card always reminds me of somebody nagging them, like they've already got some trouble going on down here, and then somebody else starts nagging them on top of that. So it's kind of like, I don't really want to be here type of card. So maybe they were making plans to go somewhere because the old environment that they were in was not suiting them at all. There was probably a lot of trouble as well. So this kind of looks like maybe they were in a family or some type of home situation where they did not feel comfortable at all because people were probably coming for them for whatever reason. Maybe also because they did not like where it was headed, because this is the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Usually you see things ripening on the vine, and maybe they saw no particularly good things ripening on the vine in the location that they were at, and that's why they decided to go look somewhere else. Now the Page of Cups in reverse has a negative sudden surprise, something that they were definitely not expecting. and may have been like the final straw here, because this is the Seven of Cups. I think this is more of maybe they were hoping for something to change, and they were like kind of like attaching all their hope to one event maybe occurring, and then possibly getting a positive change in the environment due to that one event, or maybe wanting to speak to a certain person and hoping that they would understand them. And now we have the Seven of Cups in reverse, so there's nothing left to wish for. So I'm guessing that the one thing that we're hoping would happen did not happen, or perhaps the exact opposite happened, and that made them change their mind about things. We have here the Hanged Man in reverse, so now we're looking at things from a very completely different direction, and now we have the Page of Wands. So this strikes me particularly because they are still walking across ice. It looks like it's kind of cracking, like they decided to take action very suddenly, and they may have been on thin ice, and they were taking a lot of risks going somewhere else, possibly also in the middle of the night, like disappearing in the cover of darkness. So basically they didn't have a lot of time either to do these things. This was a very hasty decision to leave this negative situation behind and hopefully search something better. Now we have the Queen of Swords here and the Fool in reverse, which is an interesting combination because the Queen of Swords is very sharp-witted, tends to be, she has her wits about her. Of course, the Queen is a she, but the person whom this refers to could be either he or she, so I'm guessing that this is the John Doe himself. And then the Fool in reverse always tells me that this person is not taking things lightly, is not just blowing with the wind, they're being very careful, very cautious. So this looks to me, even though they decided to leave in a hurry, that they also are very careful with whom they encounter. Like, I'm pretty sure they have heard of things happening to people if they're not careful and all that sort of thing. So he is trying his best not to get involved in anything too shady, trying to stay away, I guess, from certain places, because there is like a castle area in the background. He's dancing around in front of it, so maybe he's like, certain areas are just not for me. We have to avoid those areas, and just trying to be very sharp about it. Also laying low here with the Four of Swords, and then we see here the Sun, and I'm looking at the two people that appear to be dancing over there. It kind of reminds me, or it makes me feel like they lay low, so they were being careful, and then they encountered a crowd that they were very happy to be interacting with. Like, they found maybe their tribe or a bunch of people that were like them, and they were like, oh wow, let's hang out together, let's have fun, you know, just kind of like a summer vibe. Finally, I'm in the place where I need to be. This is so much better than where I was, and like a positive outlook on the future at this point, which also gave them quite a lot of strength. And we have the Lovers and the Justice. Yeah, so this is also them, I guess, connecting to a group of people through the Lovers here, and Justice possibly pointing towards them finally feeling like they are in the right place, and now everything that's done for them or to them is what they want to happen, like people treat them right. I'm going to make an assumption that they were perhaps not straight, and they went to a certain location and they found a whole bunch of other people that were also part of the LGBT. So they were like, oh, finally, this is my tribe, this is my home, people are treating me right here, and I'm going to become a part of this group here because it's giving me strength. Like, that's what I'm seeing over here. So he initially at least found a place where he wanted to belong. Now let's see what happens next though. So I'm guessing this is where he arrived in the area and was settling in. But let's see what happens next, because it didn't go well for too long. Oops, we got a whole bunch of cards here actually. Let's start with these two that land on their side. Well, this one on its side anyway. The rest I'm going to put like this. We have the Eight of Cups, so we don't really want to walk away. Maybe there is some homesickness here, like they might be wondering if only I could fix things back home. Like, there is that star, the shooting star, so maybe wishing things could be better. Also realizing that they had no choice but to walk away, so I'm guessing that they are realizing that. Also, there are some cups here that appear to be broken. Like, there's chips out of them, like there's no way this could be fixed. And that only really helps to solidify the decision that they made. Again, we're looking at a Page of Cups, and then we have a Page of Wands in reverse. Okay, so now we have another surprise, but it's kind of like a distant thing. The person isn't looking away from us while the surprise is taking place. Maybe the surprise is taking place to somebody else. Somebody has something happen to them, but they're witnessing it, and they're like, oh my God, that's so weird or interesting. We need to do something about that. And there we have the Page of Wands in reverse. Looking at the Phoenix as well, that is rising in the background there. Like maybe they're trying to help somebody else build everything back up. Maybe somebody came to them with like a sob story that made him feel like they needed to help this person. And that's why we're looking at this Page of Wands. Kind of like when you are just out of a really bad situation and you're feeling good, you're building up your strength over here, and you got all this energy going, and then you meet somebody who is kind of like in the same position that you were in before, then you're suddenly super fired up to help this person. That's kind of what this seems like. We also have here a lot of activity with the Eight of Wands also on its side, so it may be good, maybe a little bit misguided, but particularly because the Page is in reverse, it makes me feel like the action that they're taking are both sudden and not well thought out. So maybe something that they should have possibly spent a little more time on thinking about the facts or figuring out what the situation is really like, because maybe there are certain things happening that they're not aware of or that aren't quite what they seem. We have the Eight of Swords. Okay, so now we've kind of locked into this path. Eight of Swords is like a mental entrapment that you could walk away from, but they may feel like they can't. Like for whatever reason, they're locked into a certain state of mind and they don't want to walk away from it because, I don't know, it might like bother somebody, or they might not feel like it would be a good thing. We have the Chariots in reverse and headed the other way from us, so there's a lot of activity here, but it's not what we want. There's a cup over there on there as well, so also our emotions are being carried away, possibly by somebody else. They're headed in a direction where they're feeling like this is not what they wanted. They're out of control. And there's something over there next to the milestone. Looks like a bear trap or something. There's something over there next to the milestone over here. It looks like some type of bear trap or something. So maybe they also feel trapped into this action, which is maybe also what this Eight of Swords is referring to. This is the world looking the other way. Like maybe they don't want to show the world that they don't really want to take part of this anymore. They're feeling like they can't walk away. Also because the Three of Cups here would suggest a falling out. Like maybe if they backed away from helping this person, it would not be looked upon very favorably. But this is also possibly occurring in a place or a setting where the world just does not know what's going on. Like there's stuff happening here and it's not quite what he wants, it's going too fast and stuff like that, and maybe like something that could not meet the light of day, at the very least is hidden from the world so that people do not look upon it and possibly judge it or do something. We're seeing some fruit down there. Notably, I see some grapes, which kind of makes me wonder if some of these cups contain wine. So there may be something else going on. There may be some alcohol at play that is keeping people invested, or at least less likely to walk away. But it really looks like he's been railroaded into something that he really didn't want to do. Like ultimately, he initially signed up for it because he felt like he had to or something. There was this passion over here, and now it's like, oh, this is all kind of moving too fast. Like when you run into somebody and they just completely take you for a ride and it's not in your control anymore. And we have here, this is the Empress in reverse and facing away from us, so nobody's really taking care of them. They're not taking care of themselves, so this is a really bad setting that they found themselves in. We already have some disharmony here, and that is causing the bad self-care, so they're not really taking good care of, and they're not taking very good care of themselves either. We have the Six of Wands, somebody whom is celebrated, but are they really though? Because there's a lot of bloodstains over there. And we have also a King of Wands, which is somebody who's very actionable, wants to take care of things that they want done, probably immediately. Almost has the stubbornness of the page, basically, but then a bit more forceful, more mature, has more weight to it. Their demands have more weight to them. So this person may be celebrated by some people, but if you're on this side, you see their actual side, and then you see how forceful this person is. So I'm guessing this is when he encountered the person who ended up taking his life, which I'm guessing kind of happened over here already, but now we're really looking at the reveal, basically. So now they're really aware that this person is not here to keep their best interest at heart. They're here for their own selfish reasons, but there's not much you can do about that because according to society, this is a great person or something. Like, a lot of people celebrate this person, but they don't really know the other side of this person. And that's probably why they're able to do these things. Okay, we got the Nine of Swords in reverse. So there's a lot of anxiety here. Also, we're looking at somebody who appears to be in a bit of a barren surroundings, like maybe they were kept somewhere for a while, and maybe they were hoping that they would eventually make it out, and maybe they were hoping to bide their time and then get out some other way by being a good person. And they may have also offered up some things like, okay, well, if I give you this, and will I then get my own thing back? And I don't know, trying to, I guess, balance things out. Usually the Nine of Pentacles is also like a personal gain. So maybe a bit of suggesting a give and take. Maybe also suggesting that there are things that they can get if they are released. Like, hey, back home I have money, and if you let me go or something, then I'm going to be able to get it to you. But then you do have to let me go and all that sort of thing. Like trying to convince them maybe to see things their way and want to take the resources rather than continue to trap them. I glanced at the tower earlier thinking, maybe that one's involved, and then it fell out of the deck, so that's nice. Anyway, Cup, the Ace of Cup, as a matter of fact. So maybe they are trying their best to charm this person. They're trying a new tactic to try and get this person on board, trying to do whatever this person wants, I guess. The person themselves, though, are not really looking at the fountain in this case. They're looking past the fountain and what's behind it. Just a couple mountains. So maybe they're looking for ways to escape to another location, even though this person is trying to be as interesting as possible. Again, we are looking at a night sky, so maybe during the night they're trying to charm them, but they're a person that's keeping them where they don't want to be is actually already planning their next move. And then we have the tower over here. So this is the tower which already appears to be destroyed a while ago. And maybe this is also a realization like, okay, yeah, the thing that I thought may be happening is definitely happening. Like, there's no denying it anymore. The truth comes to light. It was a sham all along because the tower was already broken before he ever arrived in this situation. And everything in the bottom of there is already quite burnt. Like, there's nothing to save here. So there is that disastrous change. Oops. All right, so we're not really balancing any resources here, or there's no interest in any sort of balance. We're looking out onto the world and it's a barren wasteland. There's no sense saving anything. There's nothing to save, it feels like. That's what this card kind of feels like to me. It's very cold, bleak, and the towers in the background. Maybe those are like other options that they could have chosen, but they decided to choose this one. So now they're just stuck in this particular situation. They're kind of realizing that the situation is hopeless and there's no sense trying to balance any type of resources. That sounds a little bit weird to say that, but let's see, I'm going to put these like this and I'll get you guys in a moment. Still trying not to get fooled by anything though. They were careful at the start. We saw that earlier with the Queen of Swords as well, and the Fool in reverse. Again, we have the Fool in reverse. So even though reality has been revealed, there's nothing they can really do. What they can do is keep their wits about them. So they are doing whatever it is that they can do. And once again, 7 of Pentacles here. We start off in the first row at the very first lineup that they didn't want to, or they didn't really see anything good ripening on the vine. And this is more of a very large question mark, and maybe also kind of like blaming themselves for the situation. Like, yeah, I thought that I was doing everything right, but apparently not, because here I am. And there's even a skull down there at the base of this tree. So they planted something in a location that was never going to give them anything good, and now they're just kind of looking at the result. Like, that's the type of feeling that I'm getting from this card, which is not to say that that's actually what they was doing, but maybe they felt like that's what they had done to themselves. They also realized that there's nowhere to go because of this Two of Wands in reverse, so there's no exit strategy. They don't see anything in any case because this is the High Priestess in reverse. And so there's nothing that they can glean anymore from the situation. They don't see any options for either peace or wisdom that they're just not seeing. There's no exit that they've missed, or something that they should have done, or something that they can come up with that they should have done. Looking at the Ten of Cups, but it's far removed. And a while ago I had a reading where I also got this particular card in a similar situation, and this seems more like rewards in a far distant, almost like a distant realm. Like maybe this is perhaps the during or directly after moment when they lost their life, like they kind of like saw that the cups on earth were all empty, but the real reward was up here, like that type of thing. Like this may be where they leave the mortal coil, so to speak. So that is all very sad. I'm going to go back to this deck because I think this is where he died. And now I'd like to know if we're ever going to figure out who actually did this to him, because he suspects the one serial killer, but maybe there was somebody else, or will they ever figure out who it was for real? Oh, there's already a couple on the table right there. So what do we have? We have the Two of Pentacles in reverse. Again, we see this very often when I ask about investigations, or if somebody's going to get the truth or not. This kind of points to me like resources aren't spent quite right. There's emotions involved as well. And we have here the Six of Swords, people being transported to places. Maybe the thoughts are going places where they shouldn't be going. And a Queen of Cups in reverse, it can be somebody manipulative. It can be that their emotions are the wrong way, so to speak, going the wrong way. They may have certain feelings about the situation. And this may be shortly after they were found, actually, because over here, this Six of Swords, this person is led. They're on the boat, but the thing is that this boat is kept afloat with this big balloon that is coming out of hot air from their own head, like that. So maybe there's a lot of stuff going on in their mind that's keeping them from going in any other direction than this way. So, and the age that he was found in, 74, people were not very much on board with LGBTQ, and so maybe the people that were initially part of this investigation were like, oh yeah, well, it's not one of those people, if you know what I mean. So it's probably that they were doing this, or they were probably doing that. They were probably being risky with their behavior, and this is the sort of thing you would expect, and you know, kind of almost like victim blaming. But at the very least, having a certain mindset around this type of situation and people who are LGBT, and just kind of like letting that lead their hand in the investigation. Knight of Swords does have them charging off. It could be that they have certain pet theory that they really like, that they are going to hunt down regardless. So maybe that's why they were like, oh, this has to be that guy because he's done a whole bunch of people, so no doubt it's him, like that type of thing. And they just keep chasing that windmill with a lot of passion. Let's see what else we can find. Those guys, everything always gets shoved around. All right, let's take a look. We have, this will be the Nine of Cups in reverse. Okay, so we're not very satisfied with the way that the investigation is going. That's actually kind of positive, because that might mean that they will eventually try something else. We have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, so we are still working on things very diligently, but the Wheel of Fortune is here, so maybe they suddenly encounter something that's like surprising. Winds are changing, their sails might be facing the other way all of a sudden, and then somebody kind of loses their position, like not necessarily like being sacked or anything, but more like they may have been a strong proponent of a certain theory of what may have happened, and then they're like, oh wait, but actually that's not even possible because such and such. Also noticing the broken heart over here, and this person may now still be in favor of this one theory when everybody else around them is like, nah, it's not possible. I don't think you're right about this, so I'm going to go do my own thing, or I'm going to do something else, but in any case not supporting their theory and their actions anymore, because of course it is a Wands card. Okay, that one did want to fall. Almost didn't. And then we have Ace of Wands. All right, so now we have a new initiative, which is interesting. There may be somebody who has a new pet theory, or they may be getting a little close to the fire. Just noticing the beetle over here, but they may have come up with some new inspiration, particularly because of all the little sparkles around the head over here of this person, whom I'm guessing is the person who's going to have this new theory developing in their mind. So they may be trying something new, which is interesting. Let's see where that leads. Whoops, okay. This one, Ace of Wands, or Ace of Wands, Queen of Wands. All right, so this person is also very actionable. So once they figured out that maybe there's something else that they can do to help this case along, like maybe DNA research, that's very popular these days, they really put all of their eggs in this one basket and they go after it with all of their strength, because Queen of Wands is very willful. We have the Five of Wands, so people may not be super happy with this idea. So she may encounter some resistance, or people are just trying to test the theory, which is also good. Like, you don't always have to go run after every theory as soon as a new theory arrives. You can also kind of like test each other like they do in science, like peer review each other's work and stuff like that. So they may perhaps ask some questions about this new idea in order to make sure that they are not being fooled here with the Seven of Swords. Could be that they are wondering if this new idea is a good one. It could be also that people are working against them, which may also be the person that was earlier kind of like removed from their throne because their idea was apparently not a good one. And then we have the Tower over here, which really turns things upside down, which is interesting. So they might actually find something that makes them go, oh, wait a second. Like, maybe not even this idea, but just the fact that they're doing something else, and then you get this struggle and people fighting each other, I think will lead to a whole new realization, and the old investigation kind of like breaking down and having to be built back up from the start in order to, I guess, reevaluate this case and possibly finally solve it after 51 years. Maybe more than 51, because I'm not entirely sure how long this is going to take. Probably a bit longer, but hopefully eventually we'll get to this tower situation where they just look at things with fresh eyes, and we hopefully find out more about the Wilmington John Doe of April, because there were other John Does of Wilmington as well. But in any case, that is what I'm seeing for the Wilmington John Doe. I hope you found that interesting. Make sure to leave a comment and a like. That really helps the channel along. If you want to subscribe, that's even better. I very much appreciate every subscriber. All of them counts. I hope to see you in another video. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.